If your business is facing some tough financial challenges right now, and laying off staff is something that is considered as a cost-cutting measure, before you move on that, I ask you to consider these 5 steps. Step number 1, hold a state of the business address, all hands on deck meeting. This is your opportunity to talk directly with your employees and share with them what cost-cutting measures you plan to put into play before turning to layoffs. Step number 2, when you move into cost-cutting measures, before cutting any kind of cost that would impact the frontline worker, I urge you to consider doing what one of my clients has done in the past that served them very well. Look at reducing executive and management salaries first. This particular client reduced their executive management salaries by 15% and management salaries by 10%. This move sent a clear and strong message to the frontline worker that management was dedicated to cutting costs to protect the frontline workers' jobs. Step number 3, reduce overtime hours. As allowed by law, reduce or eliminate overtime hours. Now, the challenge for many employees is that if they are accustomed to working overtime on a regular basis, their standard of living has quite often elevated so that now their overtime pay has become what they consider their base standard of living pay. And so when you cut overtime hours, it's going to be a financial challenge to them. So again, this is something that you would notify them about in the state of a business address to forewarn them this will be a cost-cutting measure, measure 3. Step number 4, reduce hours and cross-train. Instead of, again, laying off an individual or teams of individuals, reduce their hours first so that someone doesn't go from having an income to no income or unemployment income. Reduce their hours and cross-train so that when they are out on reduced hours, other team members are able to seamlessly step in and fill their responsibilities for them. And then step number 5, when you have no other alternative and you have to resort to layoffs, do so with dignity. Communicate with every person that is faced with a layoff what options are available to him or her post-layoff. What benefits will they still have access to? What services will your company make available to them or are available elsewhere to help them find a job someplace else if that's what they choose to pursue? Also, don't treat them like a criminal and stand next to them like a guard as they gather their personal belongings and exit the building. Allow them to say goodbye to their friends and colleagues and leave the facility with dignity. So that's it. Those are my 5 steps. I hope that if you are faced with a very difficult decision of having to lay off staff, you can do so and treat them